Joined right out of high school when Vietnam kicked off and started going. I was working on helicopters, but they formed this new unit down in Fort Benning, Georgia, called the 1st Cavalry Division. So I left Fort Hood, went down to Fort Benning, Georgia, and joined up with the 1st Cav. We went all the way out to California to get on a boat. And going to Vietnam is 10 to 12 days out on the ocean. And we had our helicopters on the same boat we was on. So when we got to Quy Nhon, we put the rotor heads on, fired them up, flew them off the ship there at Quy Nhon, and went to Unconquered. And that's when all the combat started, you know. And thank God I was only there 1 year. That was enough for me. I was very, very lucky to make it out. A regular routine day, 6 helicopters go out and pick these infantry guys up, take them to someplace. We would almost land. Most time we'd get right down to the ground, they'd all jump off. They had a mission to do. And a lot of times, you know, when they'd complete the mission, or if there were still some people to go pick up, we'd go get them, bring them back to where we picked them up at, go back to our base camp, start all over again. A lot of times, like the door gunner, he'd be on one side of the helicopter and I'd be on the other. We had a big bucket of bullets, you know, machine guns. But sometimes the actual VC would be on the ground shooting back at us. We'd still land and let them guys jump off. And so I know what most of them were into. One of the people that I come acquainted with real well was one of the ones one day when we went down, let him off. And so right away, we hadn't been gone just maybe one circle. We got a call to go medevac one. I jumped out of the helicopter, ran over and got him, pulled him back up in the helicopter. That's the one guy that I knew that I called a friend. He was an infantry guy, and I made him after we got there. But he wanted to see some action, and you know, that's all he'd talk about. And he got it. First time he got to go down, he got killed. That when I did finally get to go to Washington, D.C. and see the real wall, I found his name there, and I almost choked up thinking about him. Lord knows that they had to give their life so the rest of us could keep going. But then one day, just right out of the clear blue sky, here they come hollering. Says, the man that was in charge of us short-timers getting to come home, he come running down to the flight line where I was at and told me, he says, come on, if I can get you down to the airport, you can go home today. I've been there 11 months and 20 days, I think it was. And I knew that my first daughter was born, you know, while I was there. It really made me feel good to step off that plane, know I'd back home and got to see my daughter for the first time. You know, that was something pretty special. But now that I've been out over 20 years, going to the wall and actually going out there and laying that reef, that was a trip well worth waiting for and to take. And I'd recommend anybody gets to go or to do so, because that really meant a lot to me. That's one of the memorable things that did happen to me after I got out. And I wouldn't have got to go up there hadn't been for the Chickasaws.